Christian Schad, Beauty, Tension, and the Strange Truth of Reality. In the turbulent years between two world wars, when art was rapidly changing and reality itself seemed uncertain, one artist chose a very different path. His name was Christian Schad. While many of his contemporaries were turning toward abstraction, distorting forms to express emotion, Schad moved in the opposite direction. He returned to the visible world. But what he found there was anything but simple. Schad became associated with the movement known as Nieuwe Sachelijkheid, or New Objectivity. This movement rejected emotional exaggeration and instead focused on clarity, precision, and realism. But in Schad's hands, realism was never neutral. His paintings are sharply detailed, almost photographic. Skin, fabric, glass, and texture are rendered with incredible control. At first glance, everything appears calm, composed, even elegant. But the longer you look, the more something begins to feel off. There is a quiet tension beneath the surface. His figures often seem emotionally distant, disconnected from one another, or even from themselves. Their expressions are controlled, almost frozen, as if hiding something just beneath the surface. Schad was not interested in ideal beauty. He was interested in psychological truth. In works like Portrait of Dr. Haustein, the subject is presented with precise detail, yet the atmosphere is unsettling. The gaze is intense, almost confrontational. The setting feels still, but not peaceful, more like a pause filled with unspoken meaning. His portraits often feature figures from urban life, intellectuals, performers, outsiders, people who existed on the edges of society. And through them, he captures a world that feels both modern and fragile. Berlin during this time was a place of contradictions. Nightlife, freedom, experimentation, and beneath it all, uncertainty and instability. Schad's work reflects this atmosphere perfectly. Gender, identity, and social roles blur in his paintings. Masculine women, feminine men, and androgynous figures appear frequently, not as statements, but as realities of the world he observed. His art exists in that in-between space, where definitions dissolve. There is also a subtle connection between Schad's work and what would later be called magic realism. While his paintings are grounded in reality, they carry a surreal edge. Not overt fantasy, but a quiet distortion of normality. Everything is real, but not entirely comfortable. Light plays a crucial role in his compositions. It is often cold, clear, and unforgiving. Unlike the dramatic shadows of Baroque painting or the softness of Impressionism, Schad's light reveals without emotion. It exposes rather than interprets. This creates a sense of distance. The viewer is not guided toward feeling. We are left to confront the image directly, to sit with its silence and ambiguity. And that ambiguity is where his power lies. Schad's work resists easy interpretation. It does not tell us what to think or feel. Instead, it presents a world that is precise, controlled, and slightly distorted, just enough to reflect something deeper about human experience. Even decades later, his paintings feel modern. The sense of disconnection, identity, and quiet tension remains deeply relevant. Christian Schad reminds us that realism is not always comforting. Sometimes, the more clearly we see the world, the more complex and unsettling it becomes. His art lives in that delicate space between beauty and unease, clarity and mystery. And in that space, reality reveals its strangest truths.